I just talk about you, but you're not here.
Ready to go?
My debate teacher's coming pretty soon. Like
Okay.
a couple seconds.
So we had a little time confusion, 12 and then 12:15 after business lunch. So Jackson would like to wait for some debate
Just one
for
person.
one person. So be sure to give a hand when they come in.
Oh, another person.
Another person.
Not that person.
So we'll get another one in. We'll just make it a party of this.
Okay.
All right, so continue to group on as you will.
No, Catherine texted him. He'll be here soon. He was early, and then I told him it's 12:15. Oh. Still waiting for another person.
You know, I should act like a closing prayer, you know.
Yeah.
Should we go to that?
Ah.
Jackson, thank you for doing a good job. And I don't know,
Oh.
Dr. D, could you close us in prayer?
Mr. Palmer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is that the main ones?
Yeah.
You want to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have mixed feelings introducing this young man. I was just telling your mom, these things are wonderful, but they're so hard because especially if it's been somebody in student council that I've worked with so directly, I look at you and think, oh, I remember him as a little freshman. But now you're a big senior, so let me open us in prayer and we'll get started. Father God, thank you so much for Jackson. Thank you for the life that you have given him and the life that he's given us through his work and his service to Valor. I just am so incredibly grateful for the legacy that he leaves here at Valor, for the investment that he's made in just really the entire Valor community, students and adults alike. Thank you for blessing my life with him and help him to know that we are here because we love him, we support him, and we're interested to hear his story. I pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Passwaters, for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I'm glad you could take some time out of your day to see what I have in store for you guys as my presentation. But just to begin really briefly about my life story, I was born in September 22nd, 1998. I remember that. And what was funny about that is that it's actually the same day and month as my dad. It's just 46 years apart, but it's close. No, it's really cool to have the same day and birthday as you. It's a really special thing. And I grew up mostly in Larkspur, Colorado on a ranch with a bunch of horses, cows, a lot of dogs, one cat, just a lot of animals. And I grew up with my three brothers that were older than me, Corbin, Steven, and Kevin. And Larkspur was just an amazing time. I got to be on a ranch, so it was like a little rancher thing, but it was just super fun to be there. And I actually have a funny story from Larkspur. I was riding an ATV with my friend, and he was in the back, and we were going down this creepy alley that was just weird all the time. And it was on our property, and it was just a slant. And there's this thing, so we're going down not too fast, but like there's this black blur just on the left side of us, and we're wondering like, what the heck is this? But I'm still going. I think it's a squirrel, so I was like, I'm gonna beat this squirrel and just like race it. So I go a little faster down it, and all of a sudden the thing just like goes a little farther back, but then it just shoots in front of us and just spreads its wings, like just a massive wingspan, and just takes off in front of us. And that wasn't a squirrel, that was actually an owl that was racing alongside of us. So we just slam on our brakes and like pale face and just freaking out. But it was just really cool and really funny, and a lifetime thing you ever do that. But when I was little, I used to play a lot of sports. I played soccer, baseball, and football. And it was just, I had a great time doing that, getting to know what I loved and what I loved doing, and also meeting a great amount of people. And with baseball, I played that through middle school. And another funny moment about that is that one practice we had in Castle Rock, and there was a storm coming in the distance, but none of the coaches seemed to know that there was lightning, but all of us players were saying like, there's lightning in the distance, like, shouldn't we stop? And then our head coach is like, okay, let's bat. And all of us players were freaking out because it's like, well, I don't want to really hold a metal bat in the air when there's lightning around. So I went in the infield, and all of a sudden there was this massive light, and I literally felt like static or just like a shock in me from it. It was just so close to us, and I've honestly never seen my coach. Like, my coach was a bigger guy, and I've never seen him run so fast. And he just literally left all of us there, just like freaking out. And we're in Little League, so but it's just every man for himself at that point. But with football, I also played in Little League, and football was amazing. It was really fun. I just never learned how to take a hit, so it wasn't great. But I got nicknamed from my coaches. This is Little League, so I was like 9 years old, and I wore a size XXL helmet. So I was I was literally all helmet and no player. But football was really fun to play. It's just, at one point I was like, I can't do this anymore. But when I was 9 years old, some sadness hit my life when my brothers Steven and Corbin just all of a sudden left. Like, at a young age, I didn't really know why they left, because I never got to really say goodbye to them, and I didn't understand why they moved to California. And so that was a really hard time and confusing time in my life. But I mean, it changed when I came to Valor and started to understand faith more and how God has a plan for all of us. And I've been so appreciative for what has happened to me at Valor, whether it be like in growing my faith and understanding things more and getting a connection with God, or really just all the people I've met and all the people I've gotten to know, including Mr. Hovis. But I've just been really blessed to be at Valor and continuing my faith. And during my freshman year, the first day of school, I never said a word, I think, my first day of school. But during at lunch, and Miss Harper, I think, was involved with this, but I met Spencer, because Spencer he told me this before. He was like, he said to himself, that kid looks lonely. I'm pretty lonely, so I'm going to sit by him. But it turned out we had debate after that, and freshman year debate was so fun. I enjoyed being argumentative and just being quick thinking, or have quick thoughts. If someone wants to say something and looks like rebuttal, it gets annoying for some people, but it's just fun for me. And freshman year was overall amazing. I got to meet Mr. Seiler as my 9th grade seminar teacher, and it's just been such a blessing, and he's been such a great friend, and I really appreciate that. On my sophomore year, I finally got into the council, student council, as the sophomore class president, and I was super excited to begin that, and because I've always been passionate about leadership, and it was just intensified when I joined student council. And also I started playing tennis, even though before I started playing tennis, I'd never played tennis. I think I threw a racket over the fence once when playing with my mom, but I loved to learn tennis, and it was really fun to play. And then on my junior year, I traveled to Stanford and Harvard for debate, and it was really fun because we got to beat some international students at Stanford, which I was super proud of, some South Koreans that came from South Korea. I was really proud of that. Even though we went like 2-4, I didn't really think about that. But I also went to Alaska for Discovery, and I met some amazing people, Darby and Abby, with all the singing in the car and everything. That was really fun. But being in Alaska, you always hear those stories about people struggling and suffering and having it harder than you, but you never really understand that until you're actually put into that scenario. And that was the first time I was put in that scenario in Anchorage. And it gives you the realization that your worries and your struggles are completely minor to what these people and these kids go through at a young age. And you see them full of joy, and then you ask yourself, like, I have these minor things going on that I think are huge, but yet these kids are finding so much joy in everything they do. So I really had a passion for serving, and really it gave me a good understanding on life and being grateful for what I have. Senior year was also full of amazing things, and partly amazing things. I became the student body president, and I was super blessed to do that because that was one of my goals for a while, like all 4 years at Valor, and I was really excited. And then also I went to homecoming with Catherine, and I was excited about that because a couple months later, she became my girlfriend, so I was super excited. With debate, I traveled to ASU and Stanford, And unlike the last time I went there, I actually qualified at Stanford, but I lost in the first round, but I got a little trophy, so that was cool. But like with all the good things that have happened and with my senior year, you know, if you know me, like there was a lot of things that really hurt me my senior year. One being in September 25th, we got a phone call that my sister-in-law Amanda passed away in a car accident. And this was the really first time I experienced grief like this before, and I didn't know what to expect. And I didn't know how to comprehend what was going on and that my brother was in the hospital. But you know, it was again really hard for me to experience that. But through all that pain, there was a miracle that happened. Well, there's two. That my nephew, my 2-year-old nephew, their son was completely untouched, without a scratch, or maybe like a little scratch, but it was incredible. And then also Kevin, they called him the miracle boy because what he had should last 6 months of no walking really, but he started walking in a week, and he was just so determined. And I just saw amazing love for my brother, and I spent a night in the hospital with him. And I just, being the youngest brother of the family, I just felt like being an older brother at that time. And it was a sad thing, but it was a really good thing because I got to build a better relationship with my brother Kevin. So that was incredible. And on March 25th this year, we were still getting over the loss of Amanda, and we got the news. It was on national news, but we got it from my uncle that my brother Corbin, who was adopted, passed away in a car accident. And that was difficult for me just because I finally got to build a relationship with my brother, and to see him just go like that, it was really difficult. But you know, I find some strength to know that my brother died doing what he loved. He loved storm chasing, and he pursued that the day that he passed away. And I just find a lot of comfort in that he died doing what he loved. I really appreciate that. I also got to build a I also got to build a relationship with him at ASU. It just happened to be the right time, or same time, same place, and it seemed like a miracle because I finally got to see him after, I don't know how much it had been, like 8 years, but I got to build a relationship with him, and it was amazing to have that. And from all these things, like this year especially, I've learned to trust in God more. That, you know, even through this sad time, you can find strength, that God has a plan. And I've had some help from people that have taught me that, and also to just trust in what God has for you, and even with the future. And that's why I'm super excited for the future. I'll be attending Baylor University in the fall, and I'll be studying business and political science. And I'm super excited for that because I know God has great plans for me there. And I hope it to strengthen my faith as well, and all of that. And I'm just incredibly blessed to go there. It's truly amazing that God has some amazing plans for all of us. And just to go into my thank yous to both of my parents. You guys you mean so much to me. And just like through all my failures and successes, you know, you've always been there. With failures, you're always there to comfort me. And with successes, I really give it all back to you guys because you built me to who I am. And I really appreciate that. With my dad, you've been such a great role model to me, and I've been so blessed to have you, and such a great mentor. And you always have some sort of weird saying, but it always makes sense, and I always repeat it. So I'm thankful for that. And with my mom, again, you've been such an amazing mentor. I'm so thankful for your motherly love that really only you can give me. And your food is amazing. I always look forward to that during the day when I'm hungry, which is a lot of times. And also your willingness to help me pursue things that are different. You're always right by my side, and you are too, Dad, and I really appreciate that from both of you. When this is Past Waters, I've been so incredibly blessed to have you as a mentor, as advisor, and mainly as a friend. And I really do give you all credit for making me into the leader I am, because seeing you and what you do makes me want to do more. It makes me want to pursue leadership. It makes me want to pursue the things that you do. And I'm so thankful that you were put into my life because you really made me on who I am today. I'm so thankful for that. And Mr. Seiler, these 4 years, I was hoping that you were going to be my prayer partner this entire time. So it was really cool to find out that you were my prayer partner. And I think it was a godly thing because, in this time, you really helped me understand who God is and why God does these things, or what plans God has. And I'm incredibly blessed to have you as a friend and as a great mentor and a prayer partner. I'm so thankful. And Dr. Davis, there's honestly no one in the world that has as much knowledge and wisdom as you, because you can talk with me forever. And I really appreciate that. Like, you've been such a great debate coach as well as a life coach. And I've been incredibly blessed by your knowledge and your wisdom. And I thank you for that. And with Mr. Hovis, just thank you for teaching me the art of debate. In good and bad moments, you always help Spencer and I, even though sometimes it looks like you're irritated about us. And with some students, Catherine, again, thank you so much for homecoming and for you being in my life. After homecoming, I was just beyond blessed to have you and to create a relationship and just have a stronger connection with you. I really appreciate that. And then I'm so blessed to have you as my girlfriend, as I said before. And on a more serious note, like, even through all the hard times this year, I've just been, your love, support, and care has really always been there for me. And with Mrs. Lee and Mr. Lee too, I've been incredibly blessed by you guys. And thank you for helping me throughout this time. God definitely put you in my life and in our lives for a good reason. And I'm starting to see what that reason is. So I really appreciate that. And with Spencer, thanks for being a friend or a best friend since day one. We were both pretty nerdy, so I really appreciate that. And also, we've been partners in debate for 4 years, and yeah, we've like argued with each other, got mad at each other, but had some good times with each other mainly. And I've just been so happy to have you as my partner, because I wouldn't want to be partners with anyone else. And debate's been amazing with you. I hope to continue that relationship with you. Not debate relationship, just like friend relationship. And thank you to everyone. I would want to thank you personally, each and every single one of you. There's just not enough time. But each of you have helped me shape to who I am today and the Christ follower I am today. And I really do appreciate that and everything you've done for me. And I've learned that from you guys. My English teacher's not here. My old English teacher, Miss Daniels, she always wanted to Into the Wild reference. But I've learned that happiness is best shared with others. And you guys really do make my life better and more, just better overall. And I thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Jackson. We have time for questions or encouragements for Jackson.
Yeah,
Jackson,
oh.
I see you going into politics. I'm sorry. I'm quicker. So, I see you as being a leader, especially in the area of politics. Do you have an aspiration to run for an office or do anything like that?
Honestly, I really do. I'm taking political science, and I've in student council, I've always had a passion to lead, and I always want to lead more. Like, even though I was maybe the top position for leadership this year, I still felt like I wanted to lead more and do more. So that's definitely something I would like to pursue in my future. Spencer, did you have a question?
Best debate memory.
This may not be the best, but it was definitely a good one. Like, it's just funny to see how intense debaters are. Like, I remember being called deaf by our opponents in round, like hard of hearing, liberal, and also what was the other one? I just heard it. Yeah, like I'm not able to understand anything. But it's just really funny to see how much enjoyment people get out of debate. But it's great being your partner, so I appreciate that. Yeah, Darby.
What is your funniest moment from Alaska?
Definitely. So it started in the plane ride. I was listening to "Dangerous Woman" by Ariana Grande, and someone saw it and they're like, "You listen to that song?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I do." And it happened to come on the radio in our van. So I was like, I have to just like belt this out. So I definitely made some people probably worried about me. Like, who is this kid? But that was probably the best time, the van rides. Yes, these. Not you hitting me twice. Probably going to state or regionals this year. Like, even though we didn't make it, I got to go on the court again that I just broke my ankle. And even though we lost and my partner's not here, that was the best game I've ever played. So that was really fun. Grant?
If you could change one thing about high school, what would you change? Deep stuff going.
I'll give you a deep question. Getting more involved in things my freshman year, because I started to do that sophomore year with like student council and tennis, but I really wish I did more freshman year. I kind of stayed in my shallow area. Yeah.
What's your favorite tie?
It's either this one or my Jerry Garcia tie. This one's a Trump tie. So I thought I'd go more presidential today. But yeah.
How many ties do you have?
Oh, I really don't want to answer that. Maybe 30. I have 3. I'm just kidding.
I have one question for you.
Yes.
Jackson, when you think back over all of your experiences in high school since you've been here about, so I won't ask you to pick a superlative, but when you think of challenges that you've had as a leader, I would like you to describe a challenge for us and what you learned.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely last year, it was Carly, Sarah, and I, and sometimes we didn't get along great. Some of us, but just going through that, like, we're all leaders, like each and every single one of us, we're strong, really strong leaders. And for me, it was hard to figure out how to work together with everyone, even though we lead differently and we have different personalities. I struggled with that in the beginning, but throughout the year, I really grew with Carly and with Sarah working together. And that was probably one of the many challenges that happened, but that was definitely one of them.
I want to encourage you. You do have natural leadership ability, and you're growing in some areas that you're less gifted in. And I want to applaud you for that. And I want to encourage you to just continue to press in close to Jesus, because he is really the only one who can make you into the very best leader that he intends for you. I'm excited to hear what you're going to accomplish at Baylor, and I'm excited to hear what God has for the rest of you.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing this time.
Of course, thank you.
Closing comment? Good. Thank you, Jackson.
Yeah.
Your tie is making presentations great again.
Thank you.
Why don't you come over here and we'll have a time for prayer for you. Is that why you sat in the back, Spencer? Why don't you stand right here? So I'll invite whoever would like to open up in prayer and then follow. And then after a few minutes, Ted, do you mind close us up? Thank you.
Thank you, Lord, for Jackson. Thank you for what I thank you for before. I just can't thank you enough for gifting him to us. I ask you today to bless his family, bless his mom and dad, for putting effort into raising him and for shaping him into a young man who comes to us ready to be shaped more. Thank you so much. Bless them. Pray that you would go before Jackson, that you would smooth out his path, that you would make his path very clear for him, that you would remind him that when he is faced with challenges and struggles and things that make him angry and things that questions and things that cause him grief, that you are right there with him and that you have never left his side. In fact, he's never left the palm of your hand. Thank you for that understanding. him to develop a thirst and a hunger to chase after you, to dig deep into your word, to grow roots that will produce him into a tree that is never shaken. I pray for the calling that you have on his life, Lord God. Give him eyes to see the things that he needs to do, the people with whom he needs to interact with, and the people that he should avoid. Pray that you give him ears to hear the words of those who need to speak into his life. I pray that you give him courage and perseverance and strength to speak into the lives of the people that you have put into his life to speak into, Lord God. Pray that you prepare a group of friends for him in advance of his going to Baylor. In fact, I believe you picked them from the beginning of time, Lord. Thank you for your work in his life. I thank you for the work that you will continue to do in his life. And I thank you for letting us be a part of that.
Dear Lord, I just praise you so much for Jackson. I praise you for all the gifts that you have given him, for his leadership, for his compassion to others, and for his determination for all of these hard times. Dear Lord, I praise you for his family, who is taking care of him, and who has rallied around me, Lord, in these hard times. And dear Lord, I pray that as he goes to Baylor, that you would bless him. I pray that you will just continue to bring him close to you. And I thank you so much that he is a part of our life and a part of my life.
God, thanks for Jackson. Thank you for his friendship. Thank you for his sense of humor. Thank you for his steadfast love for others. Father, I remember him as a freshman. He wasn't treated sometimes well by other classmates. Looking at that and saying, someday it's going to be different. You know, he's a leader. As a senior, he is. And so, Father, I thank you for just his faithfulness, his diligence, the way that he just has a heart to serve another. Blessings and mercy. Keep us surrounded with grace and mercy.
God, I thank you so much for Jackson. Even though I've only gotten to know him these last 2 years in Alaska and his senior year, I just thank you for showing me what a man of Christ looks like through Jackson. And just the smile that lights up a room and that he brings to my face and our team's face throughout the trip. I just pray that he keeps that same charisma in through Baylor, and that his journey just will be safe, but he will just be filled with you as he continues on.
Father God, you are good and gracious to us. We praise you for that. We thank you for our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Father, we want to thank you too for Jackson, the time that we've had together. It's so meaningful. Father, I just pray that you wrap your righteous right. Protect him and keep him. Go before him in the soil of his heart. I pray that you will till it. That you make it soft and open to you. Father, just pray that you would lead men and women into his life, strength and character. And Father, that you would lead him in the way everlasting, eternal and true. We trust you for all your good and great. Praise you. And Father, we just ask for this time even in England this year, that you would protect Jackson and Mary. Thank you for the family that you've given him and you. Father, thank you even for the trials. I know that sometimes hard to say you. Father, thank you for Father, Jackson has proclaimed his faith and his trust in you. We praise you for that. And Father, we just ask for your heavenly blessings upon his life. But before him in all things and always. And it's in the name of Jesus Christ that we pray.
Amen. Thanks, Mr. All right. That was a pleasure. Thanks,